welcome to this tutorial on how to draw some Pokemon characters. What you will need is a piece of paper, a pencil, probably an eraser, I know I'm going to need it, and maybe a pencil sharpener. Okay, so today we're going to start with Eevee, and we're going to start with the head, and I'm going to make kind of a domed top like that, and then we're going to curve it around. It kind of looks like an acorn. I'm gonna erase that there because I definitely don't want that. Okay, so this is just the basic shape. Then what we're going to do is put in the ears. So I have one that goes out this way, and it looks like a very squished football with a point on the end. And then I'm going to make one that comes up this way. It's a little bit longer, so I'm going to cut that one down and erase. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and put the inside of the ear. I have it a little bit wider on the inside and a little bit smaller on the outside. There's less space on each side of the ear. Still not liking the top of the ear there. There we go. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in the eyes. And Eevee has big, big eyes, long and tall. Like that. And then we'll put big circles right there. Like this. And then a little curve right here. This would be where we would color in brown. And then we would do black in here. And then leave these circles white. Okay, and then Eevee gets a tiny little nose. I'm making a tiny little V. And then my Eevee is gonna have just a little tiny mouth, not very big. And then what we want to do to finish off the head is we made our guideline there, but Eevee kind of has some fluff on the top. So we'll erase that and then go back and make some fluff on there. And then we can make a little bit of fluff on the inside of the ears as well. So sometimes we draw a guideline first, and that just shows us where we want to set up for the rest of our character. And I'm going to round little Eevee's cheeks like that. Okay, so we have the head. Now what we want to do is make the little ruffle around the shoulders. And we could do a basic swoop like this. It's almost like a heart if you connected it, but we don't have the heart part because we have the head there. So I made it super, super light. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm going to go back and make it just a little fluffy by making some jagged lines, following my same outline that I had done before, like that. And then I'll just erase some of these little lines that I don't want anymore. That was my outline. Okay, so now we'll do some legs. And I'm going off a Pokemon card. That's what I'm looking at to draw from today. If you collect Pokemon cards, then I'm sure you have plenty of examples of fun Pokemon that you could practice drawing after you get a basic idea of how to go with it. So here's one leg, and they just have little tiny feet, like you don't see the individual ones. So we made a curve here, another curve here, and then just went, it's like a flattened W with an extra little loop there. And then on this side, we'll go down here and just 3 little toes there on our Eevee. And then we have a leg back here. which we can barely see. And I know it looks silly to have a little leg back here, but when we finish the rest of the body, it'll look great. Okay, and then we have this other back leg, which is gonna start somewhere in the middle of the ruff. So about here. And it's gonna go down, not quite as far as this leg. So we want these two to be parallel if we're on the ground, right next to each other. And then this one, so this is the back side of the leg. And then we'll make 3 little toes going across. And then the rest of the leg there. And then we have Eevee's tail, which is gonna be big and bushy. And swoop out like that. And then the tip of Eevee's tail is white, so we'll make a little zigzag like that. Okay, so that's our basic Eevee. Next thing you could do is you could color it in, and this part would be white, this part would be white. It's a little shadowing underneath the chin on this side. Over here, the inside of the ears would be dark brown right here and here, lighter brown, and then the lightest brown for Eevee's other parts. So legs, other part of the tail, the rest of the head. So there's our Eevee. Next. Okay, and for our next Pokemon, we're going to do the ever popular Pikachu. So we're going to start with the head again. I always like to start with the head on any kind of creature, person. I just like to get the head right and then go on with the rest. Okay, so we had a rounded head, and then we have his cheeks that puff out just a little bit, and we're not going to connect the circle or the shape here. We're just going to leave it open. So if you were to split this in half to make it easier, you're going to start at the top, make a wiggle, go down here like a slope, and then a little wiggle out for a cheek, and then go on the other side and do the same thing, just down there. Okay, so, and I'm noticing mine are not even as I do that. That's why we do it in pencil first. That way we can erase it if need be. Okay, so we have the basic head shape. And remember, we're going to leave it open here where his neck is. We're going to go ahead and put in his eyes, which are nice big circles, kind of right in the middle. So if you split it in half, that's about half. And then we're going to put little circles on inside of it. You can put 2 if you want. And then we would color this in black, which I'm going to go ahead and do because otherwise it looks silly if he just has those floating eyes or floating circles in his eyes. Makes for a much better Pikachu when his eyes are filled in. And you can always go back and color this in with black instead, and not even use your graphite pencil. Okay, so then we're gonna come down and do his little tiny nose. It's like a very, very small triangle, or even you can dip down and just make a little flattened V. Then for his mouth, it's very small. We make one little tiny smiley face, and then we curve down and make a second smiley face that touches it. So we have 2 smiley faces connected. Now we want to do his cheeks. So he has 2 circles, which would be red if you were painting them in. Now we're going to go up and do his ears. So they look like very long pinched ovals, like you pinched him at the end, just like that. And he gets 2, 1 on each side. Try to make them the same height. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and mark where the little black tips will be. So we have that there. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring this in just a little bit. On this side, we're going to go down like this. It looks like he has a big tall neck right now. That's pretty silly. Then we're going to come down, make him a little wider, and curve out. Same thing on this side. Then we're going to have his feet And he just can either have a couple toes and come down and swoop down. Same thing on this one. Or you can just leave it an oval type shape. Okay, so we have that. Now we'll do his feet sitting in the middle. And we're going to start here, make 2 of these. They kind of look like parentheses, but go in the opposite way. And then we're going to make lower ones that kind of come near, but we need to leave room for his fingers. So we have them like this. Then we have 2 lines, a set of long lines and a set of short lines. And then we're going to try to fit in 5 little wiggly fingers and connect it on the other side. So 5 little wiggly fingers like that. Then we need to finish off our Pikachu. We'll put a line here like that. Now our Pikachu is definitely missing something. It's missing his tail. So we're gonna go over to this side and we're going to make what looks like a triangle. And then we're going to come out here, triangle, but now we're gonna go up and make a zigzag like that. So we have a big lightning bolt, which is what his tail looks like. Then we're gonna kind of go up at an angle and then come back down like this and like that. Now, depending on where you ended up putting it, it might be more behind your Pikachu. It all depends on where you put those lines, and either way is fine. So that's looking good for a Pikachu. You can have him sitting on the ground if you want. Put some ground under there. Color him in all yellow, red cheeks, black tip right there. I do feel like he has a black tip on the end of his tail, but or brown possibly. So that's looking good so far for our Pikachu. And now for our last Pokemon, we're going to do a Charmander, and it's going to be the side view of him. So we're going to do his head, and we're just going to make a round circle. So start with the round circle. Then we're going to make his nose, which is going to come down like this. And then we'll go up a little bit. Kind of looks like a big beak at the moment. But we're going to make a line on this side as well. And add some teeth in just a minute. So we have this line that goes here. We want to make his bottom jaw, which is going to be shorter than the top. It almost looks like a V on its side, kind of like this. We're going to stick his tongue in here, just a little bump right there. And then I can bring this here, make a line next to it, so we have 2 lines parallel. And this Charmander is harder, it has more parts. Okay, and then we'll put some teeth. Charmander has very small teeth. 2 down here. Now I can erase this line a little bit. We don't need that line, at least for in the jaw. Oh, lost my pencil. Okay, so now we're going to put in the eye. We have a slightly rounded spot right there. We're gonna come up and go around like that. And then Charmander's eye has more parts to it. We're going to have a white spot here that follows that line, a white bubble there, and then the color green there. And I think I'm going to round out the top of his noggin real quick. That's his head, because it was a little too pointy for me, which you can always go back and change it when you're using pencil. Okay, that's better. I like that better. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make his arm, which is going to come up from his body. You can kind of have, it's like a very long ovally egg right there. And we're going to put 3 fingers coming off, so 3 triangles. and they connect to the body. So after we have them connected, you can erase the top of this line right here. And then I erased part of my line that I wanted to keep, so I'll just redo that. Make this one a little bit more sure. We're going to erase this line as well. So when you're doing your first lines, we're going to keep them nice and light just in case you need to erase them. It's like this line right here. Okay, so now let's do his belly. And we're going to start at the bottom of the chin right there. And we're going to make it come down and go back up right here. So it looks like he has kind of like an egg body at the moment. Make this line a little bit light, especially down here, because part of this we're going to erase. All right, we'll do his other hand, which it's behind his body, so it's far away and it'll look smaller. So 3 little fingers just sticking out that side. It's like his arm's way far away. On the other side, it's wide, outspread like that. It's super far from us. And then let's put in his legs. So we have the line here. This is, wait, don't do it yet. Miss Nicole messed up her line. Okay, let's try it again. Go out like that a little bit further because he's running. So he needs to have his legs really powerful, spread apart. Then we're going to put in the bottom of his foot. So we have a little curve and then it's a little more straight right here. And then we're going to go up halfway and kind of bend it towards his body like that. And then he gets 3 little spiky toes on the bottom there. And this is the bottom of his foot. So he actually gets, looks like a little yellow foot pad under there if you're going to color it. Then we're going to add his other leg, which is pushing off from the ground. So it's going to go like that. We're going to have a circle there and a tiny line right there. Can you all see that tiny line right there? And then we're going to have a little loop like there. So we have a big line, tiny line, and a little upside down or a sad face. And then we're going to put 3 little claws right there too. These get the tops though. All right, and then this foot is pushing out, so it gets, that's a little tall, just a little tall. Okay. I don't draw a Charizard very often unless my boys request a Charizard drawing, but that's very rare. This is Charmander, excuse me. They would be all over me for that if I said that wrong. Okay, back to our Charmander. Okay, so we need this line here, but then we're going to erase the rest of this line. So we do need that line right there at the end of him. And then I'm going to connect that line, make that a little bit longer. So now we have our running Charizard. And last is Charmander. Oh my goodness. Okay, Charmander, and we are going to make the tail. So the tail is going to swoop up. And it's kind of going to look like a dinosaur tail. We want it thin at the very tip and wider at the body. And then we're going to make some fancy flames coming off of this thing. He is running, so his flame on his tail is whipping around everywhere. You can make some flames coming off however you'd like. Okay, we have 2 little other details. We need the yellow on his stomach, which will come down here, and then on his tail as well. And there we go. So any of those other lines that you don't need, you can just erase. If you're going to color over them, they'll probably be hidden as you're drawing to and coloring it in. So I hope you enjoyed our 3 characters and be inspired to go find a Pokemon card and try drawing your own other characters. And I hope you guys join me again for another drawing lesson. Thank you.